Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to talk about fresh release from Meng. I decided to get this kit with your help, with help of your donations, and we are going to check what is actually included here and why this model is interesting for all motorcycle builders and maybe for those who would like to try this let's say class of the models, because it's really great bike in my opinion, and it's a cool thing to copy in a 1/12 scale. Actually, it's even 1/9 scale as far as I remember, so it's even bigger. And that's why I have here a, let's say, final release, final shape of this kit. You will get exactly the same stuff as what you'll see in this video review if you buy it in any good model shop. And first of all, I have to note that box is surprisingly nice. I mean, the box art looks good. We have the traditional sticker that it is licensed by official BMW, and we have R9 T. I hope that some of you already know about this bike, because it's quite a great model, I would say, because of its customization, that you can replicate different, let's say, styles of the bike, and you can play on this, let's say, base. You can add your modifications, and that's really good thing to have for a scale model as well. So box size, I would say, is standard. You would get pretty much the same size if you buy a tank kit from Meng. Here is comparison with my hand. Next, on the side here you can see one of the marking options, and frankly speaking, this bike looks really cool. I really hope that I will get myself this bike next summer. We will see, but I mean, just look at its silhouette. I mean, it's really impressive, and it looks just like any proper German bike. And here on the opposite side you can see a short history note, and it's written that it's commemorative model for a BMW anniversary of founding BMW Motorrad, and that's why it uses the cafe racer styling. But definitely I recommend you to check the real thing if you have a BMW dealer close to you, because bike is really gorgeous. Here we have a small check which shows that I bought it with my own money, and well, it was gathered with help of your donations, so I would like to say a separate thank you to you, because without you this review won't be possible. And of course, if you want to support us even more, do not forget about this join button somewhere here. So first of all, on the top we have this small note about Meng most liked conquest. Actually, it's a competition, so you can win some interesting prizes, but frankly speaking, I'm not sure who participates in this, so if you feel lucky, you can try. And the packaging style, I would say it's typical for this brand, because here we have a first plastic sprue. It is packed into separate plastic bag, and what I'm doing at the moment, I'm trying to find the debonders. So I'm going to open it because it's closed with the staples, and that's why I'm using the special tools in order to avoid the possible damage to my fingers. I already had this, let's say, nice experience. That's why I do not recommend you to repeat it, and better to use the right tools and save yourself money, let's say blood and some other interesting parts of your body. So I'm removing it right now, and we have a first gray plastic sprue which comes in a black color. And here we have not only wheel rims, we also have some of the engine parts and some of the structural parts as well. So maybe I will zoom in, open the lenses so that it will be better visible. And I suggest we zoom in even more so that you can see what we actually have here. So we have side view mirrors, we also have some parts for the shock absorbers and also for the handles. These are actually levers for the clutch and front brake. Here we continue with wheel rims, and we also have some parts for the main frame, as you remember. Here we have some parts for the clutch, from what I can understand. And next we continue with these handles, actually, which will be used from both sides. And scale, I would say, is quite noticeable. I mean, these parts are even bigger from what we are used in comparison with what we are used to see in Tamiya kits. For example, here you can see brake calipers, and if I flip it over, inside you can notice also some guiding elements, so it will be easy to align everything together. And note that these wheel rims, they're prepared for the spoked wheels, spoked rims, because as far as I remember, there should be included in a standard version of this bike. That's why you get everything ready, and that's really cool thing. You don't have to modify anything. You get a proper thing out of the box. Now I'm opening another plastic bag, and in the meantime I can also tell you that as far as I remember, Meng also released the special add-on set, which is made out of resin. It copies various accessories which are available with the option 719. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure if such upgrade is worth spending extra money, and I'm also wondering if we will see the accessory set, let's say PE set, from various aftermarket producers, because this scale offers even better, let's say, possibilities to detail your model. So that's why it will be interesting to see what is here. And now I'm looking at this plastic sprue. This one is quite interesting because we have engine parts, and here, for example, you can see even BMW logo. But first of all, again, let's zoom into this corner. Maybe I'll open, let's increase the ISO because I can see that it's barely visible, and now it should be better visible for you. So this bike features boxer engine. That's why we have these cylinder heads separate, and I can see that overall engine assembly should be quite detailed. That's why I would recommend to invest some time into painting and weathering maybe. And of course here you can see the BMW logo, which looks quite good, and it is not replicated with some separate parts. It is molded into this plastic part, and here you can see more of the various elements. Of course it will be interesting to see how all this stuff gets assembled together, but you can see inside, for example, here we have quite large guiding elements. This will be also handy for a proper alignment, because otherwise it will be quite a tricky thing to do. Next we have, I would say, a really interesting change from what we had before, because this plastic bag is sealed. It's not closed with the staples, so that's why I'll need scissors in order to cut through, and then I'll show you what is actually supplied here. In the meantime, you can check this black plastic sprue from the opposite side. But again, I'm really, let's say, huge fan of BMW bikes. I like what they did in their recent models. By the way, I also saw just, I think yesterday, Lego released their own set of the sport bike from BMW. It will be quite expensive, but maybe, who knows, Santa will bring me this bike and we'll review it together with you. We'll see. Now I have to close the lenses because we have a silver sprue on our table. This one is used for, I would say, external parts, mainly body parts, if we can say so, because as you can see we have various panels, outer panels, which will be installed on the bike. But again, we can zoom in even better, even closer, and here you can see a steering bar, which is molded as a one-piece part together with these front clamps, and this is, I would say, something what looks good out of the box. Next we continue with various parts. For example, here we have these brackets for the front brake calipers. We also have some bars for the swing arm. Here we have some covers for the air intake, again with molded in 9T logo. Next we continue with various parts for the brake elements, and again for the rear structure, for the rear subframe, everything is molded as a single piece part. And in my opinion, these parts look gorgeous. They should be quite a nice thing to work with. Next, I hope you can hear that I'm having another plastic bag with sealed top, so that's why I'm cutting through it. I'm going to take it out right now. So here we have all the necessary bars, let's say, for the main frame. Here it is. These parts are molded nicely. Of course, you will have to combine them together, but it's really cool that each side is molded as a single piece part. I guess that's the front, that's the rear, and I don't see any, let's say, possible challenge. Just carefully separate it off the frame and you'll be good to go. Here, by the way, you can see this frontal section, and molding quality is also nice. There is nothing to complain about. Next, we have another black plastic sprue, which is sealed with staples. So I'm going to open it right now. Just give me a second, and we will take a closer look together. because this one is also interesting. I can see that there are large guiding elements. Okay, so let's move this one to the side. Here we continue with more parts. I guess this is a gearbox and radiator grille. We can zoom in a bit more. And again, black color hints that these parts will be used for the technical elements. Here you can see them from the opposite side, and here from the rear. And this radiator grille looks quite impressive, I would say. So with some washes it will be even better result. And this is really nice molding quality. Shows what can be achieved with the modern technology. So I really appreciate such thing out of the box. Next, I'm going to open another plastic bag with staples. So just give me a second. Here we have chromed parts which will be used for exhaust, as well as you can see. And again, it's a bit tricky thing, because from what I can see, this chrome parts should be assembled out of two halves. So definitely you have to think through how to play on this possible, let's say, gaps in between two parts. Even though the chrome plating, I would say, quality is really good. I mean, it is something what should be enough for out of the box build. But again, here inside you can see that, for example, these two parts will have to be combined together, and they're quite large. So it's really important to work on hiding the possible seams. And frankly speaking, I think that professional modellers, they will just strip these parts, or maybe sand them properly and then just repaint them with a metallic paint. Of course, the final, let's say, solution up to you. But again, I'm not saying that these chrome parts are bad. I'm saying that the design is not that easy to save the chrome plating here. Next, we continue with this fender for the front wheel. As you can see, it is molded as a single piece part, and attachment points are placed on the top, so it should be relatively easy to separate it without damaging it, and it's quite, I would say, sleek. I'm not sure if it hints that model can be assembled without painting. That would be strange in such detailed kit, but who knows, maybe Meng also aims this kit on the children, who knows. Next, I'm opening another plastic bag, and that's quite funny that some of these small frames, for example, you saw one just a few seconds ago, here is another one with really tiny frame inside, and here we have these covers for the both heads. And as you can see, they look quite nice. Here inside we have guiding elements, so it will be relatively easy to combine them together. It's just a matter of careful installation only. Next, we continue with clear parts. So again, I'll open it right now. As for the clear parts, I would say that amount is surprisingly big, because here, for example, you can see that we have main, let's say, lens for the headlamp, and it looks really great in my opinion. I'm not sure if masks are included, we will have to check. We also have all the parts for the blinkers, we have the parts for the tail lights, and I'm not sure where these parts will go. Maybe instrument panel, maybe something else. There is also a red plastic thing for the tail light, as far as I can understand. We will check it in the assembly manual. Next, we continue with another sealed plastic bag. Here we have spikes, or all the spokes for the wheels, and they're chrome plated, as you can see here. So again, chrome plating looks really fine. As you remember, the wheel rim should be glued out of several halves. So I think they should be okay for out of the box build. Here you can check them from the opposite side. It's just a matter of combining two for each side of the wheel. And again, the final decision will be up to you. What is even more interesting is that, for example, exhaust, which I'm opening right now, is molded out of white plastic, so you will have to paint it and you won't be able to avoid it, let's say. Now I'm opening it, removing the staples, and I will show it in a second. So here it is. That's the white exhaust for Akrapovic side muffler, And as you can see, it looks really good. Here we have really generous guiding elements, but again, you have to work all the possible gaps between two halves. Frankly speaking, I'm not sure why it was decided to mold it as a two-half assembly, but who knows, maybe otherwise it is impossible to mold such large element. And by the way, on one of the sides, on the face side, there is a molded in Akrapovic logo, so it's a full licensed item, not something, let's say, no name, which is really cool. Next, we continue with shock absorbers. As far as you can see, they are also molded out of white plastic. Here they are. And again, it will be easier to paint, but it will be a bit tricky. And look, these parts are molded as a single piece parts. So it's really weird that exhaust is actually molded out of two halves. Next, we continue with tires. And on the tires, I can see these are typical vinyl tires. They do not feature any writings on the tire walls. Tire protector features the molding seam in the middle. That's why I won't be opening it. I will show it just like this because there is nothing to show. But really cool that we have this silicone line here. It won't be just an empty bike. We also have the spring for the shock absorber. Here we have also some spring, and we have screwdriver with some screws. So really good set to have out of the box. But that's not all. We continue with vinyl parts. And these ones are surprisingly, I would say, weird because they will be used for the seat. So while some other brands, and I think you know what I'm talking about, they use the plastic parts for the driver's seat. Here we have vinyl replacement for it. It looks quite good, but I'm not sure how it will be easy to combine with all plastic parts. So I will show it in a second because it's tricky to get it into the right position. So here it is. We have here the stitching, so if I zoom in you can see it better. And note that the rear section is molded separately, so I guess it hints that you can also assemble the version with the rear cover, just like the real bike. And here we have also some rubber parts. I'm not sure where they will go. These are actually leg rests, and this is, what is it? Maybe backrests, maybe. Next, we continue with another plastic bag, which looks quite horrible, I would say. I mean, terrifying is a proper word here, because note the amount of these screws. So all this stuff will have to go into the model, and that would be interesting to see where they will be actually screwed down. I guess some parts won't be glued together, they will be actually screwed together. Next, we continue with metal parts for brakes. And this is a proper metal. I mean, I hope you can hear this. This is not, let's say, thin PE thread. As you can see, it's quite thick metal part. And here we have the PE thread. So you can see the difference in the thickness. I mean, look here and then look here. It's really thin. So, and you can see you can hear the sound as well. But that's a really cool bonus. I mean, we get it out of the box, so nothing to complain about. Next, we continue with another handy thing. So it's another plastic bag which is closed with staples. I'm going to open it right now. And I will show you what is actually included here. We have decals there, but we also get chrome stickers. And also get separate decals for the logos. We also get separate decal sheet for the main symbols, if you can say so. So quite a lot of stuff to show. So let's start with this main decal sheet. I will close the lenses a bit. So here we have not only the external lines which will be used on the real bike or on this model, we also have these circles. We also have this 21 cut into the proper areas so that it will be easier to apply on the bike tank. We also have Brembo stickers or decals. We have BMW decal here. We have also dials for the instrument panel, but that's not all. As I said before, I will move it a bit to the side. Here we have chrome stickers for side view mirrors and more chrome stickers here, because here we have decals for the brand logos, and everything is, as far as I can see, it has chrome plating. We even have the chrome plated wind plate here. I'm not sure if camera will be able to focus. Yeah, now you should be able to see. So everything looks cool. It's not plain, it's 3D-ish. So that makes it even more unusual in my opinion, and that's something what will make your model a bit more special. But that's not all, we also have masks set. So masks are included, and they're not used for clear parts, they're used for the, let's say, painting scheme on this bike. They're pre-cut, so they are ready to be used straight out of the box. Here you can take a closer look. And of course, this is a really cool thing, but I'm not sure why they decided not to work on the clear elements instead as well. Next, we continue with something different. So this box is quite heavy, and frankly speaking, this thing actually hints on what to expect inside. So let's open it and check it closer. And oh, okay. I didn't even know that this kit features these parts. This is crazy, in my opinion. So just give me a second to take it out. This is a true metal part for the fuel tank. I'm not even sure who actually did this before, but note, I mean, look at this. This is quite impressive. I mean, you can even leave it just like that and you will get a really nice metal finish, just like on the real bike. Really cool addition. Here we have Meng logo, so that's, I would say, unusual bonus, and it will make your bike stand out. The same can be said about this rear cover, because as you can see, it is also made out of metal, and again, that's something what you won't get in some other kits. Really cool thing, and it looks great even without painting. But I'm also interested what is here. I mean, there were some engine parts drawn, and I'm trying to take them out without damaging them. Oh, so these are actually the cylinder parts which are molded as a single piece parts. And as you can see, you don't have to separate anything. They're ready to be used straight out of the box. This is a really cool design, which is, I would say, really showing what can be achieved with the modern technology in 2021. Next, we continue with assembly manual. So assembly manual is packed into the separate plastic bag. I'm going to open it right now, and we will check everything one by one, every page. So here it is. It is printed in color. Let's close the lenses so that it won't be that bright for you. And 1/9 scale again. Here we continue with some advices and science legend. Of course, assembly process starts with an engine. And here maybe you will have to paint everything in advance, because as you can see, a lot of stuff getting enclosed inside, and then it will be really tricky to paint it properly. So definitely think everything in advance so that you won't get in a tricky situation, and then you have to think how, let's say, go through this whole painting process. But mainly here on these stages we are working on the rear swing arm. We also working on the brakes. And we start installing the main frame bars. So as you remember, from each side they will be installed separately. Then we start working on the radiator grille together with various piping which will be connected to the engine. Here we install the, what is it? It's rear mudguard, right? So it will be installed with the screws, by the way. Next we start assembling the wheels. So you have to cut out the center section, do not forget about it, so that you use only this element on your wheels. Then you combine it with the vinyl tires, quite easy, and install it onto the wheel. And of course it will be fixed with the screws here. Oh well, be ready for that. Next we continue with engine assembly, because as far as you can see, we start getting the another side of the cylinder head. Then we assemble the exhausts, and again I recommend to properly paint these exhaust parts. Maybe I have to check the upgrade set from Meng. Maybe it actually tackles all these parts which are assembled out of two hulls. Here, by the way, you can see how the shock absorbers will be assembled. Again, a lot of parts to combine together, and this is really impressive. I guess even the small springs will go inside. Next, we continue with headlamps, which is also several parts assembly. This is just crazy. I mean, every section of this bike is worked on the next level. It's not something what you would expect from such simple, let's say, model. And note that even wiring is supplied in a standard bike kit. So you don't have to think on how to replicate all these clutch and brake wires. They are supplied out of the box. Here, by the way, we start working on the tank. And again, with the tank, you'll have to think whether you would like to paint it or not. Next, we continue with seat frame assembly. So as you remember, we have some silver parts to install here. And this is actually the assembly option. So you can assemble the rear seat, you can assemble the rear fairing. And it's your choice because both options are officially produced. And next we continue with the foot brake assembly. Then we install it on the bike, and that's pretty much all. So 34 steps to perform in order to get your own BMW model. Here we continue with the first marking option. So this one involves the black fuel tank. And we just mask this metal section, which should look quite nice. And next, and I think this one was actually on the box art. Next, we continue with this version where we have 21 on the fuel tank. We have the rear fairing in place. Another one, here we use the metal parts from the tank. I mean, metal sections, they leave untouched. And then we also use the rear fairing. As far as you can see, it will be also left in a metal cover. Here we have also colors chart. It is given in what? In AK Interactive and also accretion. So it's a Mr. Hobby as far as I remember. So quite popular paint numbers. But all in all, we have a really impressive kit. In my opinion, that's something worth having if you are a fan of good bikes, let's say. And of course, I'll be happy to hear your opinion about such a release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!